to my brothers and sisters, to my friends in Africa, in the Arab world, and to every soul watching across the globe. I ask you to remain with me until the very end, because what I say today does not belong only to me. It does not belong only to the people of Burkina Faso, and it does not belong only to Qatar. It belongs to every free man, every free woman, every nation that still believes in its right to live with dignity, to breathe without chains, to walk without being told which direction to go, and to exist without permission from those who think their power gives them authority over our destiny. And I speak not only as the leader of a young nation still struggling to protect its sovereignty in the face of countless pressures, manipulations, and threats, but as the son of a continent that has carried the weight of centuries of humiliation, centuries of exploitation, centuries of arrogance from powers who wrote laws for others while exempting themselves, who dictated morality while practicing domination, who spoke of civilization while colonizing and extracting, who still today disguise control in the language of aid, reform, security, and partnership. And it is with this history heavy on my heart that I raise my voice, because something has happened that no one can afford to ignore, something that unfolded not in secret, but under the open skies of Doha, the capital of Qatar, an event that should never have taken place in this century. Not in this time, not in this age where we claim progress, where we claim international law, where we claim to honor peace and respect. And yet, what was done in Qatar, the violation of its skies, the insult to its sovereignty, the attempt to humiliate a sovereign people, is not just an attack on Qatar. It is an attack on every nation that dares to stand. It is a message of arrogance sent to all of us that some believe they can still trample over dignity without consequence. But I stand before you today to say clearly, Qatar is not a subject. Qatar is not a colony. Qatar is not a territory to be dictated to. Qatar is an independent, sovereign, and proud nation with a right to its security, its dignity, its peace, its choices, and its path. And those who violated that right must understand that they have awakened something far greater than they anticipated. Because Qatar is not alone. Burkina Faso stands with Qatar. Africa stands with Qatar. And every people who still values sovereignty stands with Qatar. For what happened last night was not just a local event. It was a global lesson, a reminder that sovereignty is not negotiable. Dignity is not negotiable. Independence is not negotiable. And no matter how small or great a nation may appear, its right to stand equal among equals is sacred. It is untouchable. It is eternal. I tell you today that Burkina Faso and Qatar share ties deeper than treaties, deeper than signatures on papers, because our relationship is built not on exploitation, but on respect, not on arrogance, but on solidarity, not on manipulation, but on mutual vision. And when I spoke to His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani after these events, I did not speak only as a president to a ruler. I spoke as a brother to a brother, as a son of struggle to another son of struggle, as a leader carrying the voice of his people to another leader carrying the voice of his own. And I told him with complete clarity, remain strong, remain unshaken, remain firm, because you are not isolated, you are not abandoned, you are not standing alone in darkness, for we are with you. Africa is with you, and every people who respects sovereignty is with you. And I promised him that our solidarity is not symbolic, not hollow, not empty. It is practical, it is real, it is total, and it will manifest in every way that we can support. Because this is not only about Qatar, it is about the principle that every nation deserves respect, that sovereignty is sacred, that dignity cannot be sold, that freedom cannot be negotiated. And I know the threats, I know the pressures, I know the warnings whispered in the halls of power in Western capitals, telling me to remain silent, telling me not to speak, threatening consequences if I continue to walk this path of independence. But let me say it again, here in front of the world. I was not born to bow. I did not take this responsibility to surrender. I will not bend my knees before arrogance. I will not lower my head before intimidation. I will not trade my people's dignity for the illusion of safety. And so I say it loudly and clearly. I will not bow, and neither should Qatar, because true strength does not lie in weapons. True strength does not lie in wealth. True strength lies in dignity, in the unshakable right to stand as a sovereign people. And that is something no one can take away unless you surrender it willingly. And Qatar must never surrender. Africa must never surrender. No free people must ever surrender. And so I tell the people of Qatar directly, do not believe the voices that try to convince you that you are isolated. Do not listen to those who whisper that you are weak. Do not let those who violate your skies also invade your hearts with doubt, because your economy may be strong. Yes, your influence may be large. Yes, but even if those things were stripped away, you would still remain strong, because your strength lies in your dignity. Your shield lies in your sovereignty. Your foundation lies in your independence. And that cannot be bought. It cannot be sold. It cannot be threatened away. And it is this strength that must define you, not the storm of arrogance that passed last night. Because storms come and go, but dignity remains. Intimidation rises and falls, but sovereignty endures. Threats appear and disappear, but the determination of a free people cannot be erased, and this is why you must remain firm. Not because firmness brings comfort, but because firmness is the only language arrogance understands. Firmness is the only wall against domination. Firmness is the only path to respect. And as you stand firm, know that you are not standing alone. You are standing with Burkina Faso, with Africa, with Asia, with Latin America, with every corner of the earth where people still believe that sovereignty matters, where people still believe that dignity is worth defending, where people still believe that the world must be built on cooperation and not domination, respect and not humiliation, equality and not hierarchy. This is why I say to the arrogant powers, understand this clearly. The age of domination is over. The time of arrogance is finished. The world of empires that enslaved and called it order, that colonized and called it civilization, that humiliated and called it progress, that world is gone. It will never return. And if you try to revive it through your threats, your intimidation, your double standards, your violations of sovereignty, then know this. You are not only insulting one nation, you are insulting humanity itself. Because sovereignty is not just a word diplomats write on papers. It is the very foundation of peace. It is the shield that protects small nations from being erased by larger ones. It is the principle that allows us to coexist as equals. And without it, there is no peace. There is only the law of the jungle where might decides what is right. And if you break the shield for one, you break it for all. If you violate Qatar today, you open the door to violate Ouagadougou tomorrow, Bamako the next day, Abuja the day after, Cairo, Damascus, Tehran, Moscow, Beijing. No one is safe in a world where sovereignty is ignored, because in such a world, no treaty matters. No dialogue holds weight, no promise stands. Everything collapses into chaos, and so this moment must be a lesson, not a headline, not a passing story, but a lesson written in bold letters. Sovereignty is sacred, dignity is sacred, independence is sacred, and no matter who you are, no matter how powerful you think yourself to be, you cannot trample these principles without awakening resistance, without awakening solidarity, without awakening the spirit of those who refuse to bow. And let me tell the youth across Africa, across the Arab world, across the globe, do not be deceived into believing the future belongs to those who intimidate. The future is not written by the arrogant. The future is written by those who stand tall in the storm, who refuse to bow, who protect their dignity, who unite in respect, who build with cooperation, who resist domination. And that is how Africa will rise. That is how Qatar will remain strong. That is how the world will find peace. Because peace cannot exist without respect. Peace cannot exist without equality. Peace cannot exist while some nations act above the law and others are told to simply accept. Peace cannot exist where dignity is denied. Peace is built only on justice, on equality, on cooperation, and on respect. And this is the message I bring from Ouagadougou to Doha, from Africa to the Arab world, from the global south to the entire world. This is the message. Enough of arrogance. Enough of domination. Enough of humiliation. The time has come to build a world where every nation, big or small, rich or poor, north or south, east or west, is treated as equal, respected as sovereign, honored as independent, and valued for its dignity.